Hi, my name is Glod and this is our story. Today we will talk about a not so controversial figure, Chistopher Columbus. Oh boy, I think I might regret this in the comments. Columbus was many things. He was an explorer, a con man, a brutal human being, a downright asshole, but to most of us, he was presented in school as being the discoverer of the New World, even though he was not the first person to arrive to the American continent. Humans have settled there for more than 10,000 years. Vikings have even visited and settled in Canada centuries before. But since most historians and history books are from Europe, that viewpoint kind of stuck with all of us even centuries later. Today we won't go too much into who Columbus was or what was his legacy, rather we will focus on his last trip to the Americas, a trip that left him stranded in modern-day Jamaica. On May 11, 1502, Columbus left the port of Cadiz, Spain for his last expedition to the New World. He left with 4 ships, but because of an epidemic of shipworms, he had to abandon 2 of them along the voyage. Unfortunately, face masks and social distancing were not useful against that thing. 1 year later, on the 25th of June 1503, he set sail with his 2 ships on an island we would later call Jamaica. There were no Rastafarians to welcome him, but he was lucky enough to find some very welcoming natives. The Arawak tribe were very generous to Columbus and his men. They offered them food and shelter in exchange for, some goods they brought from Europe. But soon, Columbus and his men turned into that friend that comes over but doesn't really quite know when to leave. Damn man, you're still here? Don't you have a home you're supposed to go to? Nah man, my landlord kicked me out a month ago. Do you mind if I crash at your place for the next 6 months? Kinda like it here. Oh, by the way, there's no more cereal. Sorry. And that's pretty much what happened. For more than 6 months, Columbus and his men lived off the supplies of the natives, until of course they started getting wise to their act and decided to cut off any help. Soon, a mutiny started. Crew members went and pillaged the natives and tensions were incredibly high. But luckily for Columbus, he had an evil trick up his sleeve: science. Science! More specifically, he had an ephemeris written by a German astronomer, Mühlen von Königsberg. This ephemeris mapped out the trajectory of astronomical objects in the sky, i.e. their position over time. This one specifically contained the astronomical tables for the years 1475 all the way to 1506, and this is where Columbus found the solution to his problem. He realized that on the 29th of February 1504 there would be a full lunar eclipse right after moonrise. Armed with this knowledge, he met with the leader of the natives, and he announced that his Christian God was incredibly angry at them for how they were treating Columbus. And to demonstrate that anger, in 3 days, he would make the full moon appear inflamed with wrath. Probably back then the Arawak thought he was bluffing and probably laughed at him. But once that fateful day came and they saw how the moon was slowly covered in shadow and then filled with this bloody red color, everybody started running with provisions to the ships, simply afraid of what Columbus's God might do to them. The people begged for mercy, and Columbus staged this negotiation with his God by closing himself in the cabin and praying for the forgiveness of the tribes. In fact, he was just sitting there with an hourglass waiting for the eclipse to be over. A few minutes before the end of the eclipse, he came out bearing good news that all of the natives were forgiven and that the moon would soon return to its natural state. Once the Arawak saw what Columbus could do, they gave him all the supplies he needed, until June later that year when a relief ship from Spain came and took them home. And we all know how it also turned out for the natives after that. Now, what can we take away from this story? Well, besides cementing Columbus's status as a very unliked historical figure, it's a story that once again proves a very important idea. Knowledge is power. Or better yet, lack of knowledge is weakness. Nothing resonates with this more than the impact of misinformation on our lives in the past few decades. And yes, get your angry comments ready, I'm about to piss off a lot of people. From the anti-vaccination movement to the subtle blaming of immigrants for society's problems, From Brexit all the way to the conspiracy theories of COVID-19, misinformation has cost us lives. It has influenced elections and has taken advantage of people's poor understanding of science, politics, economics, and human psychology. Even though these misinformation campaigns may give people a sense of empowerment, they are actually being taken advantage of. Just like Columbus, these campaigns willfully take advantage of people's ignorance to further their own agenda, even to the detriment of the people who end up believing them. I see you, Putin. I see you. This is partly why I decided to start making these videos. I believe we need a lot more science in our lives. We need a lot more critical thinking. And if all of these videos will make even a handful of people see the world differently and start investing a lot more in their scientific education, then all of it will be worth it. Learning and knowledge based on the scientific method truly is power. It is the power to see lies where others see truth. It is the power to see wonders where others see boredom. It's the power to see hope where others see despair. Not only that, it is our greatest power in our efforts to make the world a better place, to tackle climate change, the current global pandemic, as well as the many more challenges that are to come. And so, as Bill Nye would say it, we can, with this power,
dare I say it, change the world!
So let us change the world together with science. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. Make sure to give a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe if this is your first time here. If you like these videos, please consider becoming a patron and supporting this channel. You can get access to behind the scenes footage, early access to videos, and many more fun perks. The links are in the description. My name is Alex Glod. I'm your neighborhood storyteller, and this is our story. I'll see you next week. Until then, take care.